I'm recording this video from my second home in Asuncion, Paraguay. That's why everything looks so colorful. And why did I choose Paraguay among all of the options in the world? There are over 190 countries in the world. Why did I choose Paraguay as the place to make my at least secondary home out of all the options available? In this video, I will tell you. As a location-independent business owner, which is what I teach, I could live or spend time in any country in the world I want. So I had my pick of the litter in terms of places to make my living flags. Now, my primary living location is in Dubai because I like zero taxes. But my secondary location, my second home, is here in Paraguay. And the way I stumbled across Paraguay was many years ago, I did a big tour of South America, and I visited several countries in South America for the first time. And I was actually looking to move to Argentina, specifically Buenos Aires or the Buenos Aires area. And I figured that I would visit Buenos Aires. I'd never been there before. I figured I would love it. And then I also saw this little teeny tiny useless little country called Paraguay next to Argentina. And I said, well, I'm down there. I might as well make a quick flight over and check out Paraguay. I'll probably won't like it. It'll probably be boring and stupid, but at least I'll just check it off the list as places I wanted to visit. And interestingly, I went down to South America. I visited Buenos Aires first, and I liked it. I did not love it. And once I spent about a week or two there, I said, you know what? I could never live here. Too much chaos, too many problems. Argentina is very, very cool, but I really realized I couldn't live there. Then I went to Paraguay, and I wasn't expecting much. As I said, landed in Paraguay, spent about a week and a half there, completely fell in love with it. I loved every aspect of it. It's not perfect, of course. It is a second world country, emerging market country, but I absolutely loved it. And once I became interested in it, I did a lot of research on it and compared to all my other options and chose this as my secondary living flag. So here are the 8 reasons why I chose Paraguay as my secondary living flag as compared to all the other options I had in the world. Number 1, top of the list, Territorial Tax Country. Paraguay is a territorial tax country, which means that you could live here full time and all income that comes from outside of the country is not taxed. The only taxable income in Paraguay is money you make inside Paraguay from Paraguayans. If you follow my advice, Sovereign CEO, and you have a location-independent company where you're making money from outside of the country, then guess what? 100% of your income will be tax-free, at least in Paraguay. Wonderful. I like paying low taxes, which means I love Paraguay. Reason number 2, Paraguay is a distant country that no one cares about. Paraguay is on no one's radar. No one cares about it. No one hates it. Most people in the West don't even know what it is. Often when I tell Americans I'm going to Paraguay next month, they say, what's that? Exactly. How many countries are trying to blow stuff up in Paraguay? Nobody. No one wants to start a war with Paraguay. No one wants to terrorist attack Paraguay. Paraguay is completely off the radar of all the powers of the world, which is exactly the way I like it, especially for a very safe flag where I know if I lived here, I wouldn't have a problem, even in cases of major war, world war, conflict, terrorism. Paraguay is one of the safest places in the world because of A, its location, and B, its very small size. No one cares about it, which makes it a good thing. If you live in the United States, Canada, Western Europe, Australia, you have numerous nuclear missiles pointed at your head. Literally, you live in Paraguay, you've got none pointed at you. Awesome. Reason number 3, and this may not apply to all of you, but it does apply to me as a man in a non-monogamous marriage. The women here are very cute and very nice. I'm not going to get into detail about dating women in Paraguay because that's really off topic for this channel. You are more than welcome to go over to my other channel, Alpha Male 2.0, for more dating materials. But I will just say as a summary, the women here are very cute. They're very pleasant. They're very sweet. They're not jaded. They're not angry. They're not woke. It's a good thing. Now, are Paraguayan women for everyone? No. Many guys would come here and not be attracted to the women at all. Different men are attracted to different things. I'm just saying for me, it's a good thing. Before I go on with the other items, if you like this content on how to create location-independent income, move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan like Paraguay, you should subscribe to this channel, click the notification bell, put a like on this video, and leave a comment on this video, and that way you'll be sure to get this content for free in the future. Reason number 4 I chose Paraguay. People here are nice and they like foreigners. There are many countries where people are not nice. There are many countries where people are nice to each other, but they have very low patience for foreigners. Paraguay is not one of them. Paraguayan people are the nicest, most chill people in the Latin world. I call Paraguayans the relaxed Latinos. Instead of screaming and yelling and honking at each other, which is very common in Latin countries, you don't see a lot of that in Paraguay. You do see some of it. They are Latin. They do have that hot Latin blood, but it's not nearly as intense as other Latin cultures. Moreover, people here are very friendly. They like Westerners. They like foreigners. They like Americans, Canadians, Europeans. There are lots of enclaves of Westerners, even Asians here in Paraguay. They're really laid back here. The fact that you don't speak Spanish does not bother them or irritate them. They're just a great, great people down here. So even if you have no interest in dating, certainly you will spend time with people here, and you want, ideally, in my opinion, people who are nice and friendly to foreigners and not indifferent to foreigners or assholes or impatient with foreigners. Reason number 5 I chose Paraguay: no woke shit. There is no woke stuff in Paraguay, at least not yet. Wokeism is a cancer that's infecting the entire planet, and soon it will consume the entire planet regardless of what happens. But for the time being, at least for now, there's no woke stuff. You can't say that about other South American countries. In Brazil, which is neighboring Paraguay, there is a very strong, small but strong, woke component of feminists, far leftists, and things like that in many parts of South America, including South American countries that border Paraguay. You don't have this in Paraguay. You really don't. At least I haven't seen it. And I've been coming to Paraguay for weeks at a time for many years. I just don't see it here. And it's really nice, just like Dubai, to live in a place where wokeism is just not something you have to worry about. Reason number 6, and this is sort of an extension of reason number 2, and that is Paraguay is in the distant southern part of the southern hemisphere, which means in case of a real problem, like a full-on nuclear exchange between the superpowers, Paraguay will probably be okay, very similar to places like New Zealand. The reason for that is, and I am not a scientist, I don't know this for sure, but based on the data that I have read, the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere operate on independent weather patterns. So if you have a nuclear exchange between China and Russia, or Russia and America, or China and America, or what have you, all that stuff stays in the northern hemisphere. The southern hemisphere is either not affected at all or much less affected. So if there was a real serious problem with the climate or nuclear war in the northern hemisphere, Paraguay is going to be okay because it's so distant from all those other places. Again, its remote location is its strength. Reason number 7 I chose Paraguay: it is rising. It is a rising country. Just like the UAE where I live full-time, Paraguay is a rising country. Now, it is much lower on the economic scale than most countries in the world. That is certainly true. But every year, Paraguay improves. I've talked about this many times. Every time I fly to Paraguay, and I have that drive from the airport to downtown Asuncion, I see improvements. I see roads being improved. I see new buildings going up. I see trash going away. I see buildings being remodeled and updated. I see more and more people working. I see more high-end jobs enter into the country. I see more money coming into the country. Do you see any of that with the collapsing USA or cuckoo Canada or suicidal Europe or authoritarian Australia? No, these countries are all getting worse every year. Their infrastructure is getting worse. Homeless is increasing in these countries. Paraguay is an economically rising country. Now, to be fair, it is rising slowly. It's not like Southeast Asia or anything like that. But I like rising countries, and I really like living in a country that gets better every year instead of you Americans, Canadians, and other Westerners who live in countries that get worse every year. Reason number 8 I chose Paraguay: it's cheap. It is extremely inexpensive here. It is one of the cheapest places to live in the world outside of places like Africa. It's not quite as cheap as certain parts of Southeast Asia, but it's on par, and it is certainly much cheaper than many places in South America. You can get a reasonably nice apartment here for $400 US. You can get a really good hour-and-a-half massage here for $30. I'm a member of the nicest gym that they have in the entire country, better even than the gym I have in Dubai, and the fee there is $50 US a month. It's awesome. If you're a Westerner accustomed to super high prices, inflation, all that fun stuff, it's real cheap living here in Paraguay, especially if you get paid in US dollars. Is Paraguay perfect? No. As I've said many times, there's no such thing as any perfect country. There are downsides to Paraguay. That is certainly true. But in terms of all the options in the world, Paraguay is one of the best countries in the world, at least in my opinion, based on those factors. If you want more information on how to get residency in the country of Paraguay, you should watch that video right there, and I'll see you in that video.